The bombardment lasts for 80 terrifying minutes. When the smoke clears, a massive sea of white Soviet T-34 tanks charges out of the fog. The Romanian soldiers are terrified, but they do not run away immediately. They stand their ground and fire their small 37mm anti-tank guns. It is completely useless. The tiny shells just bounce off the thick steel of the Soviet tanks. The Romanians are crushed alive in their trenches. The Soviet armor breaks through the lines and floods into the deep German rear. The German generals panic. They desperately call for their emergency reserve force. It is the 22nd Panzer Division. These men are supposed to save the day. The tank commanders yell orders and the drivers turn their ignition keys. Nothing happens. The mighty German panzers are completely dead. During the bitter cold winter, the German crews had parked their tanks inside large piles of straw to keep the metal warm. Thousands of tiny field mice lived in that straw. The mice crawled inside the warm tank engines and chewed through all the electrical wires. A massive German armored division is completely paralyzed by tiny field mice on the most important day of the entire war. The Soviet tanks drive past them without even slowing down. One day later, the southern flank is attacked. The exact same disaster happens again. The Soviet army creates two massive metal jaws. One jaw bites down from the north, and one jaw bites up from the south. The German soldiers inside Stalingrad suddenly notice that the supply trains stop coming. The radios are screaming in panic. On November 23, 1942, the two Soviet jaws meet at a small town called Kalach. The trap is officially closed. In just 4 incredibly short days, the entire course of the Second World War is reversed. Over 300,000 German and Allied soldiers are now locked inside a giant frozen prison. They went to Stalingrad to conquer a city. Now they are trapped in the biggest graveyard on Earth.